Hey there guys, good to be back out again. I've got a candle right there, see? So you get a bit of this a bit more color on my face, and because it's very grey outside, as per the norm in late December or halfway through December, anyway, in the Netherlands. So this is going to be another Shakti energy work update of sorts. I have had or done 2 little attempts at doing a Shaktipat transmission just now. Only it turns out that you cannot really combine in the same stretch of time, hoovering the house and this type of thing close together. So even though I've had lunch and I've sat here for a bit, the Shaktipat I will have to, because it's a different kettle of fish. So today I've still got quite a bit of a, number of little different sort of subjects, if you like, subcategories or things that I want to talk to you guys about. That's all going to be shoved under the same category of this Shakti Energy Work Update number 7, which is kind of cool because 7s are cool, And I will just, instead of doing the actual Shaktipat now, I will just do another of those, another one of those little, because there's all sorts of things going on. So it turns out that actually doing a Shaktipat is different from giving Shakti energy to somebody, or, for example, an animal or a pet. And I haven't gone into either of these yet, and I haven't really talked about any of these. And so that's, I think that's really a cool subject to go into at this point. I have done the bit where I sort of use my hands to give actual Shakti energy to people, my husband, of course, and to my cats, mainly the white one that you've seen walking around in my videos. He enjoys that so much. That's amazing. So that is one really good reason, for anybody who might need some extra incentive, to get this show on the road, is what you can do for your pets with that. I can't wait, just between you and me, Jennifer, to see how Rufus would respond to that, because I just can't wait. I gotta see that, But that's gonna be in the future, maybe sometime, Because actually it looks like the Shakti energy as it starts to manifest when we start working with this, and after a while we've got, I don't know, more of the circuitry inside our bodies that's starting to be available to the Shakti, then after a while it becomes easier to do this, manual therapy kind of an approach, where if you focus on your hands, the Shakti will go there. As I've said a number of times already, the Shakti goes or either where it thinks it is most needed at that moment, so zoof to the next system in need, which is most of the time is outside our real sense of comprehension, because once the Shakti is there, everything's functioning, so you don't need to notice this, you don't need to look at it. Or the Shakti goes where we ask it to go. And it's really simple. It's basically just always, and again, it is relaxation is the key. And just being in your body and interfacing with this, talking with this, having an exchange with this energy that's there. And so you can, if you focus on your hand, basically, I believe that's what any type of manual therapy that isn't like physiotherapy, so not necessarily massage, but just energy work, those types of manual therapy, there's words for that. In In our country, we use the term magnetizing even as a verb, especially for a person who puts their hands on somebody else in order for them to feel better. There's all sorts of ways that that can work. Not necessarily Shakti involving ones. You know, there's other ways that the putting the hands on somebody can work, where I believe most of the time the Shakti will be involved at some point or other, but it doesn't really have to be on the forefront of the activity or in the forefront of the person's mind in their thoughts when they're doing it, right? The person who's the active partner in the exchange. It doesn't have to be aware of Shakti, doesn't have to know that it's a part of it or any of it. It can be a completely different kind of exercise. We are very versatile in our vibrational makeup. We can share all sorts of energies and all sorts of vibrations really easily if we choose to. And I believe so, because this is my field of study that I'm working with most of all at the moment. I've been thinking about these things, and I believe that even in cases where you're doing a white light transmission or a violet flame transmission or anything of the sort, potentially some type of a Shakti energy transmission will also be there. So just as like a lower end wavelength of the whole complex of this wave that is coming across in the transmission, right? Something along those lines. Because why do I think that? I've noticed with my Shakti communication work, which is what I would call this Shakti transmission work, if you like. All this different from Shaktipat, okay? I'm talking aloud here, also basically for you to share in my process about these things, and I'm trying to separate out different categories because that's what we do, isn't it? So, yeah. Shakti energy work is always there. There's always a level of Shakti communication going on between people. Actually, Shakti communicates with Shakti very well all the time, and most of the time we're just not aware of it. And making ourselves aware of it through the way I've talked about on this channel or through other ways, all of this will always contribute to some better understanding of what it is that we're doing, so long as we don't fight it, because that's, I think, another important component. I've never fought my Shakti energy, never, because I've only ever welcomed it like it was Santa Claus in my life, every day, every moment, every morning, every evening of my life, especially in the past year, I have welcomed the Shakti energy wherever it went and however it went, and it's always been just like a great big Christmas party, really. But and the only alternative to not welcoming it that I've had was just basically blocking it out through blocking my root chakra, and that's real easy to do. And then you just get this basic minimal supply line of Shakti that you allow into your body. And I believe that we have all sorts of physical problems and ailments due to not having enough energy in our bodies. So that's why I'm doing this. This is why I've, sort of tried to unscrew the pot and get it all opened up and getting it all available to myself as much as possible. And then not so much because I had a lot of ailments. I do have a few little, problems, but nothing that really hinders me from doing the things I want to do. But also, all sorts of psychological bits and things and issues, and not feeling strong enough, and issues with anxiety and all the rest of that, So the whole lot of it, I have considered that it would benefit a lot, and maybe even more than a lot, from introducing this energy into my life. And whenever in the past I sort of felt that it was there and I couldn't really work with it yet, I wasn't really ready for this process, because that's of course another element. You have to be ready. It has to be your own sovereign choice. I cannot stress this enough. I'm going to say it again. It has to be 100% your own sovereign choice, your desire. You are ready whenever you are, okay, to go into this process. And like Jennifer Pearson, whom I've had this kind of an exchange with on and off on this channel during the past year. She has stated in her comments and in her VRs a few times that she found it, at first she discovered the vibration of her Shakti energy, and then she found it, these are my words of course, and I refer you back to her channel to, to have a look at what she says actually, but she found it kind of scary at the beginning. Whenever she encountered this actual real Shakti energy in her field, it was a bit on the much side for her, and she felt like she was sitting on a field of white hot lava. And so that scared her, kind of, and I think it scared her off to some extent at that moment. And she decided to, at that time, not continue the process. However, in the meantime, during the rest of the year, she has not forgotten this process, and she's still, recently, you said, Jennifer, that you were interested in continuing this process for yourself and getting back to it and getting yourself into your meditative vibe, and you're getting your mojo on again to, have the focus and the peace and the quiet to keep this going again, or make progress with this whole adventure again. So, I'm saying, it's, you make the best moves when it's your own decision, don't we always? It's always like that. You cannot make somebody do things. You cannot feel like, oh, this is such a good idea, so I'm going to make myself do this. It doesn't work that way. And time is a crucial factor. I believe that Jennifer, during the time that she's sort of not consciously been engaged with this because she was doing other things and working with her dogs and all the rest of it, it's not like there hasn't been like an interface of some sort. There's been, I believe, an exchange of information, if you like, on a very visceral and probably subconscious level, which is fine, because the Shakti is what's kept us alive all these years. All those tens of thousands of years when we didn't really often have much to go on or have much to work with, especially the women among us, but not only the women, because life wasn't easy. I think especially the harder life got, the more we needed this type of energy, and it was there. It's always been there. It's silent, it's available, and it does for us what it can do at the time. And so there's that, right? But it's also, I was watching this video where people were showing off circus horses, like really gorgeous, beautiful white horse that was sort of dancing around in a circus arena with this guy. It was, I could sort of see the parallel a great deal, where Shakti is like that. It's easy to sort of scare off, but it's also very powerful, and it doesn't really have a notion of its own power, and that we on the other side can be scared of it. That doesn't enter its mind. It doesn't have a mind, really. It's different from that. So yeah. So all this general, notes and bits and pieces that are, I think, quite can be quite important or relevant to the whole study of this field and to our experience of this field. Coming back to how you can help animals with this, I believe, especially with pets like cats and dogs and potentially horses and other, livestock animals, I'm sure would respond beautifully to a Shakti exchange. In each of which cases what you're doing is sharing the warmth of your own Shakti vibration with the animal or the human, for that matter. If you have a relationship with somebody that you can share this with, and it's easiest to sort of feel your way forward with that, because there's people who can accept this energy as long as you don't talk about it, because that's going to be too difficult and too weird for them. But that doesn't mean that you can't put a hand on their shoulder if that's a thing that you do, right, with that person. I'm leaving that all up to whoever is in the picture for you at that time. Animals are a lot less difficult. So I've put my hands on my cat when he was miserable in my lap at least a dozen times and felt him relax. In the beginning, I was very tentative with this because I didn't know really whether he would like it or what would happen or any of it. And by now, I'm completely confident that whatever it is that we're doing is going to be okay, and he's going to feel better afterwards. I've seen at least 4 or 5 times that I've done this when he was really a bit malnourished and they had fleas and there were all sorts of problems with the cats earlier last year in 2018. Especially, there'd been a bad long period where I hadn't really gotten enough of there were things that had gone bad for some reason and they didn't have the nourishment that they needed, and we sorted it all out, as you've seen recently in the cat fight video as well. They're really fit now and they feel much better, so they're okay. But it took a bit of different feed and different all sorts of approaches. So I haven't saved any cats' lives with Shakti energy or Shakti hand positioning or things like that. It isn't like that. Only I have made, especially my white cat, feel quite a bit better quite a few times just by putting my hands on him and basically just having this warmth come through for him. And it's like what I can sort of see in him happening at that time is that there are all sorts of blockages due to cold, due to, I don't know, lack of taurine probably, because that's a substance that cats need really badly, lack of minerals and vitamins and things like that. Stress, of course, also creating all sorts of tension. All those tensions, they're all different origins physically, but they show themselves as the same type of tension through his backbone and all that, and in his belly and in his shoulders and neck area. And putting my hands on him sort of melts that away quite a bit. It doesn't solve the physical origin of the original problem, of course, but it does make him feel a lot better. So as soon as I've, also looked at the physical problem that was there to begin with and the nourishment and all the rest of it, the food, then afterwards we have very much happier cats. The same kind of a, sharing of Shakti, sharing of the warmth I have applied to my husband a number of times. I've got a lot of different, I don't know how many, kind of massage and or vibrational exchange type exercises that husband is a guinea pig for, or has been a guinea pig for more than 30 years, and he loves it. He doesn't want anything better than to have me poke him and prod him and do things to him, because in general it makes him feel a lot better. Haven't necessarily done the warming up so much as that it has to be combined with a grounding exercise. So when you ground yourself, it's more or less the same kind of it's parallel. Like you can ground yourself, like so. You can also sort of apply the grounding to somebody else. It's different. It's like a focus exercise. You try it, figure it out for yourself how you do that. But it's possible to ground a pencil. The pencil doesn't care, but it's possible. And what happens is that the vibration becomes more integrated in a way. This won't make any sense to anybody, never mind. To living creatures, to living animals and or humans, to be grounded means to be integrated into your surroundings a lot better. It means that the person or the animal can be themselves, be relaxed, be in whatever process they're in. So grounding is always a good idea, right? And you can ground yourself and you can ground the other, whoever that is, whether it's a chicken or your husband or your wife or your sister, right? If they're stressed out, if somebody's calling you on the phone even, and because of this, that, and the other happened, what are you going to do? You're going to try to get them to, chill. That's vibration. That's the vibration of grounding somebody. It means that you are not going to go along in their hurricane, sprawling the contents of your karma all over the, of the countryside. Instead, you're going to counteract the crazy with grounding, with steadiness, with okay, yes, yeah, I hear you, I'm listening, okay? You can still listen to them, but you cannot afford to be swept away. That's how I learned, all this stuff. So that is one sort of a level of exercise of doing this type of thing. And it looks like with the Shakti, you get the same type of levels. You have a level where you're investigating your own Shakti and learning how it works, basically, what it feels like. And then after a while, it is really easy and really a great comfort and a great joy to see it apply to animals, for example, and especially animals who've more emotional than physical problems. My cats didn't really have a great deal of emotional problems, I think. No, they're basically relaxed, and they're cats, so they do their own thing, and they don't really need me, other than they enjoy the safety and the comfort and the food that's being provided and all the rest of it. So but it's possible. And with humans, there is this strange other level where at some point, whenever the second person is ready, your Shakti will sort of start talking to their Shakti. And that's where the Shakti Pat happens, where the vibration kind of repeats itself or inspires the other vibration to come up, as long as, again, that second person is ready to receive it and to work with it. So let me see what else I've got here. A lot of it, oh yes, I was using this word magnetizing, because there's so many ways where you can put your hands on somebody and there's a different type of transmission or a different type of vibration that comes through. I suppose that basically what it is also doing is you're choosing to share a vibration. So whether that is a violet flame vibration or an angelic vibration that you know very well and that you're really fond of, or whatever else it is, or a crystal vibration of a crystal. I could do a transmission of whichever should we do, like a desirite, for example, or a witch's finger crystal or an amethyst, and do that, put that in here. And it would still go out. And people who are sensitive to that type of stuff would pick it up. Only, I believe, as I've noticed just now trying to do a Shaktipat recording, it takes time to get it right. And I want it to only go out when it's right, when I'm confident that I've done all I can, really. And so, not in combination with hoovering and stuff like that, which I'll be doing the rest of the week probably because of the, Christmas holiday coming, and I want my house to be okay and all that. So all those things are important, just as much. And I thought it'd be cool to just talk a tiny bit more about sharing the Shakti, which is sort of level 2 after you've done your study and your process, and you've kind of gotten familiar and comfortable with Shakti inside you, in your own life, and the way it works, and you still got chapters and bits and bobs and things that you want to do with it, but you're comfortable, then sharing the Shakti with living creatures is great fun. And it's very enjoyable and very, the animals love it. Pets will just, your dogs will worship you. I swear. they just, it's like Shakti is, it's just a name, really, right? It's the way animals communicate through that a lot more. Maybe my ginger cat could use some of this type of treatment, only she's so headstrong and so stubborn, she tends to run away whenever I'm, trying to do something of those lines, along those lines with her. And so maybe it's not supposed to be. Maybe she doesn't want it, and then that's okay too, So you have to figure these things out. This was one, this is basically what I had to say on this little subject. I will get back to, so it's also like a real update kind of a thing, because I'm telling you also that I haven't really got my Shakti part on for you just yet. There's practical things to do with the recording of a Shakti part as well, that I don't really have like this yoga room or anything with Indian drapes and things that look pretty. I've tried different types of music to go with it, but it only distracts me. And so I don't really know exactly how to go about this yet. But we'll figure it out, and it'll come anyway, because it's very much on my mind. So thank you for watching this one. Maybe I can do another one, because I've got several more bits and things and thoughts as to also my own level of work with the Shakti inside me as it's going at this moment. So see you then, okay? And thank you for watching, and back in a bit.